Hey there, and welcome to episode 103 of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. If you've ever had a big idea for a business or a little one that just won't leave you alone, but you're not sure where to start, today's episode is for you. I am chatting with the amazing Charity Brown all about what it really takes to bring your business dreams to life in a way that feels aligned, powerful, and durable. Charity is a business coach with over 20 years of experience as an entrepreneur, the author of Create Clarity with Charity, discover a proven process to stand in your power, beat the odds, and get the keys to your dream future. Host of the Clarity with Charity podcast and founder of the Happy CEO and the 4P framework. Join us as Charity shares her journey from young mum to building multiple successful businesses, the messy middle moments most people don't talk about, and the exact framework she uses to help other women turn their ideas into real, thriving businesses. We also talk about burnout, real self care, and why getting clear on your power and your vision matters way more than rushing into strategy. Discover the 4Ps that will help you build a business with clarity and confidence. How to know when your business is more than a hobby and what to do about it. Why mindset has to come before marketing. What self care actually looks like as a business owner and mum. And the first few steps to take if you are just getting started or you are ready for a reset. Whether you're still dreaming, deep in the doing, or feeling a little bit wobbly and wondering what's next, this episode will help you to feel less alone, more equipped, and genuinely excited about where you are heading next. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur, the podcast for mums with an online business who are ready to take back their time, home, business, and self so they can restore the balance and thrive, both at home and at work, without feeling like they have to choose between the two. I'm your host, Sarah Dew, life and biz coach for mompreneurs. I'm also a mum, stepmom, wife, introvert, breast cancer survivor, and your mentor for making a change for the better. I've learned how to go from surviving to thriving and unapologetically create a business I love and the life I want for me and my family without worrying about what other people think. And now I'm here to help you do the same. Because being an unapologetic mompreneur doesn't mean that we're selfish or that we don't care about others. It simply means that we are not afraid to show up as our true, authentic selves, to step into our purpose, do what we know is right for ourselves and the ones we love, and take the steps we need to take to make our dream life and business a reality. Join me each week where I'll be sharing all of my best tips and strategies, plus the occasional dose of tough but gentle love to help you feel empowered, motivated, and confident to take action so that you can become the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. So, are you ready to unapologetically create a business and life you love? Let's do this. Okay, hey Charity, welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, so looking forward to this. Really forward to diving in and having this conversation with you. We're going to be talking all about your powerful 4P framework for launching your best strategies and lots more too as well. But before we dive into all of the goodness that I know you're going to be sharing with us today, just in case anybody who is watching or listening hasn't met you before, do you want to just share a little bit about you, what you do, your family, your journey, what's got you to where you are now, and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur and business owner since I was 19. I had my daughter young. I went to beauty school and trying to support our family, and I just love the beauty business. So I thought that was for me. And so had my first station as a freelance, artist, and I didn't know much about business. They don't teach you that in business in beauty school. So I had to take a step back, and my um, beauty career did put me through junior college, and I got my first business degree and started learning about business, and then realized, I could make a lot more doing my freelance accounting business because I got an option in accounting. And so I started a bookkeeping and accounting business when I was 20 after I graduated. And at that time, my daughter was only like two. And, I was determined to not fail her as a mother. And I wanted to provide like the best life for her and to be able to bring, her up in a family setting where the mom's independent and, breadwinner and, creating the life and being able to have the flexibility and the freedom to spend time with her, drive her to school, take her to her cheerleading practices. I didn't want her to be a latchkey kid, I wanted to be present in her life. And so, like, the only way these days is literally if you work remotely or you have your own business. Little did I know that the business was going to take up so much of my time. It's like having another baby, but because, it's like growing, so you have to
Yeah.
sacrifice some things for others. So it was complicated, at the beginning, but it taught me a lot of things. And, getting mentors and coaches and people that have been there, done it, and have a framework really helped me, scale my businesses and my life. And be able to attain the tools that they don't really teach you in school. So that's how I became a coach and consultant after many years of being in business, owning restaurants. I had 4 restaurants. I was a CFO for a big corporation that helped restaurants, hospitality businesses, and things like that. And I did go through some burnout because I was managing way too much and extending myself, like we all do as moms. We're always like, burning the candle at both ends because we're trying to make everything work for everyone, and then forget about ourselves. And that ends up having, a detriment on our health. And so, through the years, I worked with coaches and mentors to help pull me out of some of these you know, stumbling blocks and, burnout. And so I learned some very valuable tools that I baked into my programs and books.
Fantastic. That's amazing
Yeah.
and doing and starting so young as well. And it's true because we want to do something that is enabling us to be there with our family, isn't it? And the only reason, ways that we can do that now is either working from home or having our own businesses. So I think that's amazing, like the journey you're going and not being afraid to reach out to coaches and mentors and those that have walked the path as well. It's such a game changer to do that and to then bring into what you've learned having your own practices too. And I know we're going to dig into the self-care side of things later as well, because I know you've got some strategies that you use for going from burnout to brilliance and how to take care of yourself. And like you said,
Hmm.
burning candle at both ends, trying to do everything for everybody. It's so important, but it's so hard for us to do sometimes. So before we
Hmm.
dive into that one, do you want to share all about your 4P framework, what it is and how it can help the mompreneurs listening to help them to come up with their best strategies and see the success that they deserve?
Yes. So it's really a key framework. It's in a program called the Happy CEO because that's what we all are if we choose, right? So we all have the power of choice. And I want to be a happy CEO, not a stressed out, overwhelmed, disgruntled CEO, which I was for many years because it's so stressful and I didn't have these tools. So I baked the 4 P's into the Happy CEO, and it's power, planning, positioning, and profits. And we start with the first P, which is power. And that's, you know, self growth, self accountability, having the vision, getting clear on who you are, who you serve, what problem you solve, how you want to feel doing it, how much you want to make, getting really clear on the vision of your happiest, best self. And so that's a lot of times that when business owners start, they don't have a clear vision. They know, oh, I'm really good at this, or I have a degree in this, or I'm skilled at this, but I don't know what success looks like. So it's a constantly daily grind, just making it through the next day, trying to see how much you can make. But what does it look like when it looks successful to you? How are you feeling as a person? How are you feeling as a mompreneur? So we really spend a lot of time on the power part because it has a lot to do with confidence, self belief, and being very clear on your goals. And so that's part of the foundation. And then we jump into the business tools like the planning. I use a proprietary software where we dive into the very mechanics of the business. We get very clear on, the mission. what problem you solve, the solution, your audience, your sales channels, your competition, and the strategy and how you're going to launch, and then the numbers. And so the numbers help get real clear on, is this a viable business or is this going to be a hobby? Can you really make a living doing this? How much is it going to cost you? Because businesses are an investment. And if you're not willing to invest in your business, then you're going to have a hobby unless you have some magical wand and it blows up online somehow, which it does happen 1 in a million. I'm not saying that it wouldn't, just like the endorsement from Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank with me. He endorsed the
Mhm.
accelerator and it was like a God shot. It was like a once in a million opportunity. Sometimes somebody will find you and put you on and say, literally, this is the expert you need, or this is the product that you need because you really do solve a problem in the space. So, in a nutshell, that's the 4 Ps.
Wow, that is awesome. And it's so important to get that framework and knowing that we start with our power first, that everything comes from us and what we're doing and what we want to achieve and what that definition of success looks like as well. Because otherwise, if we haven't got that goal that we're working towards, then we're just slogging every day just for the sake of it in the hope that at some point we're going to get there, right? I think that's
Yeah.
such an important place to start. And then actually looking at that foundation of, is it viable? How is it going to make money? And the difference between that and having a hobby, that if we're not investing in it. So I think that's so, so important. When you start working with people, then what is there a particular pillar there, that the 4 Ps that you find that is the ones that they have struggled with the most, or that they've not really got into tap with, that is like one that crops up all the time?
Well, yeah, and it's always in the first P, the personal power, self-belief, and
Yeah.
believing in yourself, because it's not something that you just wish into. You really have to, you can't lie to yourself. So there's some things that we do to take self-inventory to say, okay, hi self, this is where I am right now. This is where I want to be. What actionable steps am I going to take to get there? Because it does take work. It's just not like, oh, we're going to go through these little steps on the phone and click, click, click our way to, more self-belief and a dream, right? So it's like going to the gym, but it's the inner fitness gym. So you have to be dedicated. So a lot of people sign up to go to the gym and then never go work out, because they just want to get to the next step, but they don't really want to do the work. So they
Yeah.
can like breeze through that part and then they just want the business tools and they want the access and but it's like, okay, you need to do 15 reps a day times five by 5 weeks. And, you're only cheating yourself if you don't. So it's discipline, it's self-discipline. And then you get there once you start, lifting the inner fitness dumbbell or going to the inner fitness gym. You'll start seeing the shift in the self-belief that, no, I can do this. Yes, I am enough and I am worthy of this. And I know what it looks like and how I want to look in a year from now, or 6 months or 2 years. And, you have that vision of success, and then you have the attainable steps and action items to take to get there.
Fantastic. I love that analogy of like the inner fitness gym and picking up the inner dumbbell. That made me smile. I think that's brilliant. And you're right, we have to do the reps, don't we? So if we don't, it's not just gonna, it's like putting on our gym gear but not actually going to the gym. It's not gonna do anything. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Definitely. And yeah, so that brings us nicely onto like the self-care side of things as well, because I know you've mentioned burnout already, that you've been through that yourself, and that trying to find the time and taking care of ourselves is so important. And I think that really connects heavily with that first P of look of the power and taking care of yourself and the confidence and self-belief and everything, that if we're not putting ourselves first and we're not taking care of ourselves, then it's difficult for us to actually do everything else, isn't it? So what
It
sort of
is.
tips do you have, and how does, like, what do you do and how did you make up time for self-care for yourself, and what sort of strategies do you have up your sleeve, having gone through burnout yourself, to make sure that we can take care of ourselves and put ourselves first too?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have to take it really seriously for one. And we I'm certified in a program called the Zen Zone Mindset. And it's the 9 steps to inner freedom. And we bake that into the happy CEO in the first P, because it literally is like a system. Like, you need to do your accountability every 30 to 60, 90 days. Where am I feeling sluggish? From a scale to 1 to 10, where am I feeling like I'm not sacrificing enough to, be putting myself first in areas of like self-confidence, communication, relationships with others, money, finance. family, all these spirituality. And so you take a survey and you're like, and each one of those areas has about 10 things that you can code, from 1 to 10, how am I feeling? And then you can really dial in why you're feeling your self gut diagnosis, kind of like, this is why I'm feeling this way because I'm suffering in these areas. I'm having threes and fours here when I need to have seven, eights, and nines. And then you focus on those for the month or the quarter to ramp those up. And so first it's self-awareness and finding out, okay, why am I feeling this way? Because we can always blame outside influences and
Mhm.
experiences and say, well, it's because I'm really suffering in my corporate job. I don't feel fulfilled. I feel, undervalued and like I can't use my creative and I'm just stuck. Well, maybe when you look at your self inventory, that will enlighten. Well, also, I'm not going to the gym. I'm not getting out in nature. I'm not getting enough hugs, like from my family. I'm not reaching out. I'm not doing these things that would make me feel, more valued or loved in my personal life. So then you take that and you add it all up, and then it should equal 100. And then you see areas of your life that would magnify, this is where I need to work. It's really hard to do that. Some people don't really want to get real with themselves. It's easy just to stuff it and be like, oh, it's just because I'm a mom, I have too much responsibility, making excuses for ourselves. But it's when we stop doing that and we get real clear, okay, well, if I were to work on these areas, what would my life look like? How would I be feeling? What would shift? So again, you have to have the vision, the accountability, and then some actionable steps, and taking that intention and being very intent about, I am changing my life, I choose me. And then once you do that, you can have better days no matter where you are if you start putting some joy and happiness in your life and having a list and making it priority. You are number one first. Like, I know in a lot of families, God's first, yes, but please, in this human being world we're living in, we need to also put ourselves first. People say that's selfish, but it's self-care. It's not selfish. Only society has named that selfish. And it would be
Mhm.
getting out in nature first thing, putting a block on your calendar that says my time, power hour, like and then you hold yourself accountable to your calendar and you calendar it. So it's like when you move it, I'm sacrificing my happiness and my joy time. Why don't I have something joyful on my calendar today? I wanted to sew. I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to go out on the boat, or I wanted to go on a walk with my kids. I wanted, like something joyful, and then track it. Because then you're like, this is important enough for me to put on my calendar. I'm going to do it. And it's like literally a movement of that and sacrificing that. You can only blame yourself for putting yourself in the back seat again. So it's key: calendaring, vision, self accountability. Then you can shift yourself out of burnout. It's hard, like going to the gym, because it's still the inner fitness part that a lot of people don't want to, or find they don't have time. Oh, I'm so busy, I can't. But that's literally a voice that we tell ourselves. It's not necessarily the facts.
Yeah, absolutely. We always make time for the things that are a priority, isn't it? And if we're bumping it and not calendarizing it, it's not a priority. And so we need to do that. And that's one of the things that I've definitely done. I always get my clients to do. I have a 4 pillar framework as well. And love yourself is one of the pillars. And that is always the one. They'll come to me with the business or the home or the family, but it's the self pillar that needs that focus first. And it's exactly that. I get them to write a list of 50 things that make them happy and that they're making sure that they're building in each day. And it can be the tiniest, smallest things that make the difference. But once it's built in, it really does help things shift, doesn't it? And it took me a very long time, but now I block out Friday afternoons for me, and it's just 2 hours just before I wrap up for the week, set my goals for the following week and what I need to work on before I go and get Harrison from school. And it is literally like those 2 hours are now non-negotiable. And in the first year or so, yeah, I'd bump them and say, actually, I've got too much to do. I'm too busy. But then it would be like, no, I'm not honoring this and I'm not taking care of me. And now I do it and it's become a habit. I look forward to that and I protect that time so much. If I've got other things going on, I have to swap it to a different day, but I still have those 2 hours of that week where it is for me. And it's so, so key. I love that. So yeah,
Yeah.
picking it out,
Yeah.
getting the accountability, getting it on the calendar.
hmm
Fantastic.
Well, and you said something really important. List out 50 things that you love to do. When I was in burnout, and coming out of it, I literally had a hard time finding two things. I was like, oh, I like to go to the games. I like to go cook, shop. But I'm doing that for everyone else. And I'm like, what do I like to do? I literally took me months to get 50 things. That's a lot. It took me like months to get 10 things to come back into myself and find out, wait, what do I really love to do? What brings me joy? What brings me happiness? What can I do to cultivate that feeling internally? Um, and I'm like, do I like going to the gym? Yeah, I do. Okay, well, what do you like to do at the gym? Okay, what did you used to do when you were 10, 12, 15, 9,
Mm,
10, 12, 15? I like to sew, I like to draw, I like to cook, all these things that as a mother, we just end up doing them because we're doing it for the kids. And
yeah.
they're like, oh, we want them to know how to cook, or I always have to cook every night for the fam. I still love to cook, but now I feel like I'm under the gun having to cook. So it's like really getting real with what brings me joy and happiness.
I love
Yeah.
that. It's so important to focus on that. And once you do get going and like you say, strip it back and go, well, like at the gym, what do I like doing at the gym? You get to really hone in on what elements it is that do mean something to you so that you can make more time for that. I love that
Yeah.
so much. Now, I know
Mhm.
you're talking as well about like from idea to implementation, and you've got some steps of how to break down some key steps for launching your dream business. And I know when this is going to be going live, it's going to be like that back to school season, perfect time to start a business, and all of that, sort of like September, October time. So for anybody that is listening, because I know I've got quite a few of the mompreneurs that do listen that have only just started, they're in the early stages, or they've been thinking about it and they're waiting for the right time. I think this would be a great time to get going. So, what sort of tips and strategies do you have for actually diving in and launching your dream business? I'd love to know.
Yes. Okay, so for the newer mompreneurs, I have the 5-star business accelerator. So it's 5 key foundations in starting a business. Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank endorsed it. You can see it on my page and YouTube. And because it is literally the easiest way, 5 steps, 5 key frameworks, 5 weeks. You can be up and running, viable legal business with a plan, a strategy, branding and marketing, and your numbers. So you can always go back to your coordinates. Your business GPS will always keep you on track, and you can always add to it, tweak it, adjust it. So okay, the first 6 months, it's going to probably cost me a little bit to run the business, but I need 3 clients. So we really dial into the metrics on how to be profitable, how to make it a viable business, how to make sure you can set yourself up for having business credit, and also being able to know your business branding strategy and then have the tools and the resources and the mentors to help you work it out. So we do lives on our school group, and you can ask any question. But the key is one, we always do the planning and positioning and dial into your mission goals, what problem you solve, or what product you have that solves a problem, dialing into, your key audience, knowing who your customer is, and being able to deliver your pitch. So, everyone wants to know who you are, who you serve, what problem you solve, um, if you need funding, it depends on who you're pitching, and, your exit strategy and understanding your numbers. And I help with that since I'm an accountant by trade. I know accounting can be very overwhelming. I started an accounting and bookkeeping business when I graduated from school in 2000. And I started an amazing bookkeeping and accounting business. And it literally helped me scale into the consulting business I have now and into many corporate positions that I had. But it was because I had a vision of it, and I was diligent about knowing my numbers, being able to make sure it's profitable, and simplifying that. 5 key KPIs, key percentage indicators, which would be like, how much do I need to bring in? How many clients do I need to do that? How much money is it going to cost to acquire each client? And then the profits, and then how to roll that back in. So we can make it really simple. I know that probably was like, overwhelming for some because it sounds like a lot, but we do it in 5 weeks altogether. So it's not as intimidating as it sounds because all the things have been baked in seamlessly to assure that you have a great foundation.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And that is important. It's just like building a house, isn't it? If the foundation isn't strong when you get started, you've got to have those things in place. So we'll absolutely make sure that there's a link to that in the show notes so people can go and check that out. Definitely. Sounds
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank
Mhm.
you so much for this. This has been so, so good and so many great tips there. And I know that you've also got a free guide, a free book called Your $1 Million Branding Strategy. Do you want to share a little bit about that and how people can go and find it and check it out?
Yeah, so you guys can go to charitybrown.biz, and I have it's a montage of free resources for you guys. There's the $1 million branding strategy. It says free $1 billion branding report. You can download that. It will take you to a portal. You get your own portal. It will ask you certain questions about your business. And then it'll customize a report for you that helps you know what keywords to use, what colors, who your audience is, how to appeal to them. And there's also a download for my books. There's 3 books on there. Create Clarity with Charity. And
Love that
that's
name.
my main book. That's on there. And then there's 3 micro series books, and they're free. Um, and it's tidbits from each area that's in the main book, but it's made into a workbook. So you can write down things because I baked in some Q&As and things in areas from like overcoming burnout or getting clear on your goals or, strategizing your next business venture. And you can, download the books and write in them. And um, yeah, they're all free. And my podcast is on there. And there's so many amazing women on there that have bootstrapped their businesses from zero to millions. I would definitely love for you. And that's the Create Clarity with Charity podcast, blogcast on my YouTube too, if you want to watch the show as well. So it's just free, free, free. CharityBrown.biz.
Fantastic. Sounds amazing. It's definitely, if you're not yet, go and check out all of those and go and sign up for them because I think it's going to be so much goodness in there to help everybody set themselves up. And even if they've already had their business for a while, I think it's good sometimes just to dip in and give a refresh, isn't it? And just see where you're at and make sure you're still on the right path too. So that's amazing. Before we
Mhm.
wrap up, I've always got one question that I like to ask all of my guests on the show, and that is, what does being an unapologetic mompreneur mean to you, and how are you showing up every day unapologetically, both as a mum and as the boss of your business?
Yes, I love that because don't apologize for being amazing and a great mom and a great business owner. Because when we start apologizing, that means we're not stepping into our true self. If it's feeling good to you, don't apologize because that's the key is to live our best life for ourselves, to claim ourselves, our passion and our business and our family, and to stand out. We no longer have to play small. It means I'm not playing small anymore. I'm not apologizing and playing small and dumbing myself down for everybody. You have a skill, you have a trade, you shine like a light. Go shine on, girls. Do it.
Fantastic. I love that. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. Do not apologize. Absolutely. Shine bright and
No.
be you. That is just amazing. Thank you so much for this, Charity. It's been absolutely awesome. We'll make sure that all of the links and everything are in the show notes so people can come and connect with you. So definitely go and find Charity on all socials, go and get her free guides and everything else. And if the program that she's got sounds of interest and it's time for you to get started with your business, make sure you go and check out her program as well. Thank you so much, Charity. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. I've loved it. Thank you so much for joining me for another installment of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to leave me a rating and a review so that other mompreneurs can find this podcast too. Here's to unapologetically becoming the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now.